After my sister lied about me, Dad threw out my things and my kids and said, "Get out of my house." My sister laughed, "Good luck surviving, loser." We just walked away. What they didn't know was that in 3 days, karma would hit harder than they could ever imagine. It happened on a Tuesday night. My sister Rachel told Dad I stole her inheritance check from Grandma's estate, $22,000. She said she found the empty envelope in my car and that I'd been acting secretive lately. I hadn't stolen anything. I didn't even know what check she was talking about, but Dad believed her instantly. He didn't ask a single question, just started throwing our clothes into trash bags while my 2 kids stood on the porch crying. My daughter was holding her stuffed rabbit. My son kept asking why Grandpa was so angry. Rachel stood in the doorway with her arms crossed. When I tried to explain, she cut me off and said, "Stop lying, just admit what you did." Dad told me I had 30 minutes to get out or he'd call the police. As we walked to my car with garbage bags full of our things, Rachel leaned out and said, "Good luck surviving, loser. You always were the screw-up." Then she went back inside. I sat in my car shaking. My kids were crying in the back seat. I had nowhere to go and $300 in my account. That's when I remembered something. 6 weeks ago, Rachel had called me drunk at 2 in the morning. She was panicking about credit card debt, said she owed $19,000 and didn't know what to do. I told her to talk to Dad, but she said she couldn't because he'd lose it. Then 3 weeks ago, she'd texted me asking if I could loan her $500 until Friday. I'd said no because I was barely making rent. She'd replied with whatever then. I pulled up my phone and started screenshotting everything. Every text, every voicemail. Then I logged into my bank account and found something interesting. 3 weeks ago, Rachel had deposited a check for $22,000, same amount as Grandma's inheritance. Same day she'd texted me asking for money. She'd cashed it herself, used it to pay off her debt. Then when Dad asked where the money went, she panicked and blamed me. I sent everything to Uncle Tom. He was the family lawyer who'd handled Grandma's estate. He called me back in 10 minutes. He said, "This is serious. Grandma's trust has a morality clause. Anyone who makes false accusations about theft or tries to defraud the estate loses their entire inheritance." I asked how much Rachel stood to get. He said $400,000 when the estate fully settled next month. Plus Dad was getting executor fees of $75,000. If this clause triggered, they'd both lose everything. Tom said he'd start an investigation immediately, that I should document where I was staying and keep records of everything. That night, I stayed at a motel with my kids. We ate McDonald's for dinner, and I let them watch cartoons until they fell asleep. I barely slept. Just kept thinking about Rachel's face when she called me a screw-up. Day 2, Tom called me. He'd frozen all estate distributions pending his investigation. He'd also requested Rachel's bank statements and credit card records. She'd already called him twice that morning, screaming that this was ridiculous and I was obviously lying. He said her voice sounded nervous. People who are innocent don't usually panic this fast. That afternoon, my phone started blowing up. Rachel texted me 20 times, called me a liar, said I was trying to ruin her life, that she knew what I did and I should just confess. I didn't respond to any of it, just forwarded everything to Tom. Day 3 started quiet, too quiet. I took my kids to the park and tried to act normal. My daughter asked when we were going back to Grandpa's house. I told her we weren't. She asked if it was because of Aunt Rachel. I said, "Yes, sweetie, because Aunt Rachel made a mistake." At 2 in the afternoon, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. It was Dad. His voice was shaking. He said Tom's freezing everything, the whole estate. Said there's evidence Rachel lied about the theft, that she deposited the check herself weeks ago. I could hear Rachel screaming in the background. She was saying it's not fair, that I probably faked the screenshots, that Tom was taking my side because he never liked her. Dad asked me quiet and broken, "Is it true? Did she really do this?" I said yes. She took the money, paid off her credit cards, then blamed me when you asked about it. Long silence. Then he said, "I don't know what to say." I told him there's nothing to say. You chose to believe her without asking me a single question. You threw your grandkids out with garbage bags. He started to cry, said he was sorry, that he should have listened, asked if we could talk about this. I said Rachel gambled her whole future on a lie. $400,000, your executor fees. All of it gone because she couldn't admit she had a spending problem. Rachel grabbed the phone. She was sobbing now. Said I ruined everything, that I always had to be the victim, that this was my fault for not just letting it go. I told her she did this to herself. Then I hung up. I blocked both their numbers, took my kids to get ice cream. My daughter asked if Aunt Rachel was going to say sorry. I said probably not, sweetie. Some people never learn. We never went back, and honestly, I don't think we ever will.